Hello everyone and welcome back yet again to another daily update video. My name is CryptoStash and I hope you're all having an amazing week currently. It is Friday, the trading week is coming to an end for the traditional markets, but other than that, let's get right into the charts as we do have some very important things to cover for Bitcoin. You could see Bitcoin is right now rejecting from a very important level, and this level right here is the exact top from back in March 2024, the top of the bear market, of the bull market that we had right here. We are rejecting from this exact all-time high just around 74k. I don't think that 74k, and right here we were at 73.9k, so basically almost from this level we are rejecting right now. What this means for Bitcoin is that we are potentially gonna remain below this level and be in a similar range like we were back in 2024. It is very possible, but other than that, if we look at it on the short term for Bitcoin, you can see this is a clear rejection. I was expecting at least a move towards 78k, but why this did not happen and why it potentially won't happen is that we are, in my opinion, too early in this range. You could see how short this range is right here compared to the sideways range that we had the last time that we've dropped, seen that such a sharp drop towards 80k. And after the sharp drop towards 80k, this range is just around, if we measure it, you could see right here, just around 28 days. And this range after the sharp drop of 80k, we have been ranging for around 56 days before we got the next major move. And so we are still early, as I said, in my opinion. We need to see basically this range trade for a little while longer. I do think that the market makers are gonna give us like another month, basically until the end of March. So this is gonna be like around right here. I do think that this range could continue for another 54 to 56 days, maybe even less, maybe even more. But we first need to see this range get extended like the one that we had before in order for us to see a sharp move, be that either to the upside or to the downside. But in my opinion, after we trade like this, we are gonna break once again towards the downside. Now it could be different. The move towards the downside might not be as big as those two previous moves, but it could very well happen since we are clearly in a downtrend or a bear market, call it whatever you will. But also the fact that we are currently trading around the 200 weekly EMA is showing some weakness. If we go on a chart with more time data, you could see basically the last time that we were trading right here around the 200 EMA, we dropped below it. We have then traded below it for around, let's see, for around 260 days. So if we drop below it and trade around for 260 days, this is gonna be meaning that the bear market is gonna be ending around November, December 2026. So by the end of the year, we could see the bear market coming to an end, and basically we could see another bull rally start to form. Now the stock market is doing quite well, even though everybody has been calling this a topping structure, like the last topping structure that we had before the tariff crash. And with right now with all the war news going on around, I won't be surprised if we see another sharp drop, maybe towards the yearly pivot for the S&P 500. I don't think it's gonna be such a massive drop like the one that we had during the tariffs, which was around over 20%. If we get a drop towards the yearly pivot, this is going to be around 11% of a correction. So I do think that we are gonna see something like this at least before we get a continuation in the equities, but as of right now they are looking pretty bad. If we look at some of the altcoins, for example, like Ethereum, you could see Ethereum is way below of the weekly EMAs. We would need to basically, in my opinion, see a retest of this EMA if we would wanna see more downside, but it is not excluded that we could just range a bit here and then start breaking down again. Right now it sounds crazy that Ethereum could go back to all the way to bear territory from back in 2022 to below $8,000, but if you have not been following the blockchain data, you could see that the founder of ETH, Vitalik, has been selling a lot of ETH. So if the founder is selling, you know that things are about to go down. Not that it would crash and go to zero. Well, it could, of course, not a financial advice, but as you know, it could very well go into those bear market territories. Solana, same thing right here, sitting at this very important support into resistance flip, which is currently right now acting as support. If we lose this level, Solana could also very well go back down to like bear market territory, not to around $8 or $10, but very well we could see Solana to around $40 to $50 for a coin. It is very, very well possible. And right now the important thing, the dollar, you could see after bouncing from the yearly S1 and from this range lows that we have right here for the dollar, even though the dollar is still in a downtrend, right now the momentum is still towards the upside. And where might the dollar top or continue to drop, you may ask? I do think that we are gonna see a test of this yearly pivot. Historically, I think it has been tested every single time, every year. So we could see the dollar pump like towards 101 right here, which perfectly follows this yearly pivot with this high that I have marked right here. So we could see very well something like this happen. It is very, very possible. And then the dollar will continue with this downtrend. Of course, if we break around here and the dollar starts showing strength and goes all the way to the yearly R1, for example, like to until here, it is also possible. But then overall, I do think that we are gonna start dropping again. If we look at the open interest for Bitcoin, you could see during this move down, the open interest has been dropping once again, while the CVD has been remaining high. So this means that there are new short positions coming into these prices right now. Of course, if we look at the long versus short ratio, you could see we do have right now more sellers in the market again, which is why I am expecting a potential drop for us to see. Maybe not back to the range lows, but it is very well possible. Currently trading below VWAP. And if we look at the liquidation heat map, you could see all of the liquidity as of right now, if we don't count this one right here at 74 basically to 75, 76, all of the major liquidity is right now stacked towards the downside after this nice move that we had. But as I said, the rejection from this level is basically very, very key. And we could see price drop all the way back if we draw our volume profile. Basically, we could see right now, you could see we are testing that value area high as support after we have been, after it had been acting as resistance. And once we start dropping around here, 67, 65K will become the next targets. If we look at it on the daily time frame, we have also the monthly pivot sitting around here, and we have the monthly support one sitting just below the range lows, basically at around 61K. So this also becomes a possible target. But for right now, we first want to see Bitcoin lose this value area high as support, and then that POC, and maybe even the value area low if we want to see lower price targets. I don't think that we are gonna go that low now, but we could still see ranging, and potentially, like we had a sharp move towards the upside, we could have a sharp move towards the downside. Since we are in a range, as I said, I don't think that this ranging is going to be over and we're going to be breaking out soon. We need some more time and some more consolidation. You know, Bitcoin loves to consolidate sideways before getting that explosive move. This is how the market makers work. This is how the smart money works. So you gotta be following those people if you want to make profits. But other than that, if we look at the fear and greed index, you could see we've had a nice spike up back into the fear zone. But of course, if we start dropping right now, everybody is gonna get scared, and you're gonna be seeing how we are going to be going very fast back into that extreme fear zone if Bitcoin starts dropping towards the lows of the range to value area low around 65k. And this is not going to be, if we measure it from the high, this is going to be around 11% of a correction, which is going to be quite a lot. And we could see it go back down to around $1,900. Very, very possible. Spot ETFs, you could see yesterday, after 3 days in a row, we had our first major outflow day of over 200 million. So if the bigger institutions start selling off again, this is gonna also have an effect of Bitcoin, and we are gonna potentially see that move happen even faster towards the downside. We did already covered it. Of course, we do have some news coming out today, which could very well change the whole market sentiment, and we could see price basically reversing towards the highs and maybe even going higher to take out the liquidity, which is above 74k. Of course, this data could also send Bitcoin back to the range lows. We are gonna see what happens. It might not have an effect, but still very important news today. I do expect some volatility to happen, and I do think that this will cover it for today, guys. Hope you liked it, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.